Good morning to you from Alton Broad here in Suffolk, and what a beautiful day it is. There's virtually no wind, there's no cloud hardly, and the water's calm. Looking out across these waters reminds me of a film I went to see some years back, and it was re-shown the other night on TV. It was called Sully. Those of you that know the story of Chelsea Sullenberger, the airline pilot, who I'm not sure, you can correct me, but I think he was on his last flight before his retirement, one of the last flights. And I think the plane had a bird strike, and both engines went out, and he couldn't get to LaGuardia Airport in New York. In other words, he couldn't turn back, and he had no choice other than to keep going. And all there was in front of him was the Hudson River. And he had literally no choice to bring the plane down, literally glide it down onto the river. And it's quite a scene in the film where you see all these passengers. The plane didn't sink, and all these passengers, 155 people on board, all were standing on the wings of the floating plane. Goodness knows how many tons of aircraft literally floating with all those people on the wings, as you can see in the thumbnail. And it made me think about unfamiliar territory. Something that's supposed to be in the sky has actually landed on the water, and it's staying afloat, and not one person was lost. And of course, it's put down to the skill of the airline pilot, who they call Sully. And also, let's not forget that the grace of God was involved. I'm sure many of the people that day were thanking the Lord for their salvation. And I was thinking this morning about a scripture that might fit something like that, and I opened at Matthew 24. And it's just one verse, a couple of verses I'll just go back to here. Jesus is talking here about the Great Tribulation and how people are going to have to flee in the last days. And he says here in verse 20, "Pray that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as what was not since the beginning of the world, to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." See, we go through things in life, and Jesus is saying here that the elect will go through the tribulation. Again, I know it's controversial, I brought this up before, but Jesus is saying that the days will be shortened. Although you will suffer, although you will go through some time, there will be the mercy of God. And to know the mercy of God in our lives, imagine what those people must have felt like when they saw that, I think in the film it says, as the pilot would probably say, brace for impact. And what was happening in those couple of minutes before they actually hit the water. Most planes, of course, when they do hit the water, they just disintegrate. And of course the plane could have gone straight down if the nose had been pointing a little bit more downward, a few degrees. The plane would have just gone down and sunk, and everybody would have been drowned. The amazing thing was that it didn't happen. God was merciful. Their lives were spared for another day. And of course, everybody loves a hero. I know that you Americans who are watching particularly love to venerate a hero and laud them up. And it's always wonderful to see when somebody is raised up and recognized for what they do and the skills that they have. But I'm sure even that pilot, deep down inside, he must have been praying, "Oh God, help me." And God was merciful. So on this lovely day, let's think about that. That God is merciful. He shortens the days of our trouble. Yes, the trouble will come, but the days will be shortened. And I pray today that if you're going through any trouble, that God will be merciful to you and shorten your days and bring you through it into days of calmness and peace again. Bless you today.